you are one of the few, we were talking about this before, you're one of the few agents that really putting out content has made it an emphasis and a part of your agency journey. I create 5-year plans. I think 10 is too far, but I like to look at 5.
Okay. So I'm like you. I'm just visiting in the present. Most of the time I live in the future. Never stop learning because life never stops teaching. Never get comfortable that you have it all because you don't. You just don't know it all. And you talk about coaching. Every time I coach, every time I mentor, I'm learning as much from the other person as I'm, bringing to the table myself. So just stay humble. Whenever there's conflict, ask yourself this question. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I choose happiness.
What are some of the common struggles that you are helping agency owners with?
I would say the big 3 that all agents go through is...
Welcome to another episode of the A1 Experience. If you guys don't know the guest that I have on today, then you're probably living under a rock because we've got the one and only Mr. Kevin Spann. Welcome, bro.
Thank you, man. Real happy to be here. Excited to be at A1 and on the podcast. Best podcast in the insurance industry.
I mean, there's a lot of good ones, man. They got the insurance dudes.
Yeah.
Those guys are pretty
Respect.
awesome. But that's an honor for you to say that. We went from the A1 agents to the A1 Experience to branch off and have a more than just insurance agents. But we've got one of the best in the building today, guys. If you guys don't know Mr. Kevin Spann, he's a mega insurance agency owner. He's been an agency owner for 17 years. He's a best-selling author, a business coach. He's in town for the CWC conference. He just got off a stage. Was it today?
Yes.
He just got off a stage today, and he's blessing us with his presence to add as much value for you guys as we possibly can. So, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here. Love what you're doing here. Love the studio. Love the opportunity just to kick it with you. I actually talked about you in my speech today. I went back to us being on a boat together, Cancun 2023, little yacht party. So to get back and catch up with you, it's a beautiful thing.
That water was so baby blue.
Yes, yes.
Mexico, man. I'm dying for a trip to go back because we just had our baby and we haven't been able to travel, and I'm just itching for a trip to Mexico, man. So, but good times with you. Please, for those that don't know who you are, share a little bit about your story.
Okay, my story is pretty straightforward. Been in the insurance business forever. Love it. Love helping people. My story is a combination of business and community. The foundation of my agency is not as much switch and save. It's always been about helping the people protect their American dream, whatever that is, whether it's their car, their apartment, their house. I love doing it and really being there with the people in a mix of the community. So whether that's supporting sports or helping fight causes and doing business that way, leading with community and then backing into everything else.
You live in one of the most community-driven states in the country, I would say, in New York.
Yes.
Talk about that.
The community in New York where I live, my agency is based in Middle Village, Queens. Queens is proudly known as the most diverse county in the country. So if you've seen Kevin James, King of Queens, think of Queens that way. There are 108 languages spoken in Queens. 50% of the population is born outside the United States. So in doing business is very important that you have an agency that's as diverse as the audience. So in my office, I've got to count it so I don't mess. We speak Spanish, Polish, Italian, Cantonese, Chinese, Haitian, Creole, a couple other languages. But yeah, that's what's needed to speak to the community.
Wow, that's crazy. And all we speak here is maybe some Spanish, a little bit of English. We don't even speak my language. I'm Polish and I don't speak Polish. That's awesome. And so take us back. Were you born in New York?
Born in New York, lived most of my life there, Long Island, New York, straight out of Wyandanch, New York, home of probably the greatest MC of all time, Rakim. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's where I'm born and raised at, yeah.
I just saw, he just did, there was a video of him recently, and it was just like, insurance agents, what is every agency's highest closing lead source without fail? Personal referrals. What if I told you I could help you turbocharge the frequency in which you got personal referrals? In the last 5 years, I've written over 5,000 items and $3.5 million in premium from inbound organic sources, and it cost me nothing. How? Because posting on social media is free. If you want to turn your agency into a referral machine, then go to nicksaka.com/creators and sign up for the Insurance Creators Mastermind, where me and my team will meet with you and your team twice a month to help you with something that no other agency is doing. Imagine having the guidance, the ideas, the trends, and the strategies that actually work in converting more business for your agency. Go to nicksaka.com/creators for more. Now, back to the show. How he has this timeless flow.
Yes.
Like he, like I don't know
Yes.
where he was at, but I was just like, that's insane. Like it's like crazy. And where the music's at today is a different story. That's a whole
Different story,
podcast.
different conversation.
Different conversation. Take us back. What made you get involved in insurance? What were you doing before insurance? What led to insurance?
Oh man, that's a great question. For me, insurance was I was a young husband and a young dad. So before I became an agent, I got in insurance as a life underwriter, a straight job. Was loving what I was doing and had a chance to go out to an agents meeting one time. My job was to talk about completing paper applications the right way back in the day. But before I got to my part of the presentation, talking about this life application, they did a sales presentation where they told the sales guys if they sold a certain amount of P&C business, they get to go on a trip. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the wrong part of the company. I got to get to sales. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What was the trip that that made you like, all right, that's it. I'm done.
Anywhere. They were leaving town on as a person that grew up not flying and traveling a lot and being, just having imagination, big dreamer. The idea of going anywhere on someone else's dime because of the work you did. Yeah, that's what did it for me. So I wanted to work hard to get to sales, and I knew what was waiting for me when I got here. And I tried to take advantage of every aspect of it, work hard, play hard. And the most important part, you'll probably agree with this, is to have time with family, have time for family. So you have that perfect balance.
How many children do you have?
Oh, great question. So I have three sons, Kevin Jr., Dominique, and Trey, all three of my sons. Then I'm also fortunate to be a grandfather of three, Jade, DJ Aura. A lot of people know her. She's been DJing and getting a lot of notoriety now. My grandson, Mason, and then my newborn grandson, Caleb.
Yeah, family time. I'm just getting started in this game, building so that way I do have more time, to be able to spend with them, just building the whole foundation, right? And they were how old when you guys started?
When I started with the agency,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so they were a little bit older. Like Kevin, my oldest, at the time I started the agency, was 19-year-old college student.
Okay.
Youngest son about 15. And it's funny you asked that question. From a content standpoint, we recorded a video where Kevin did the camera work, and my youngest son, Trey, who's 20 now, he's doing the voiceover, and he's in a 5-year-old voice like, please buy insurance from my dad.
That's awesome.
Yeah, fast forward to today, he's 6'5", 320, and, he doesn't sound like that anymore.
That's funny. So speaking of, and we could talk a lot about content. You are one of the few, we were talking about this before, you're one of the few agents that is really putting out content, has made it an emphasis and a part of your agency journey. How did that start? Because it's not natural for a lot of agents to view it as a tool and as powerful as it is. But ever since I've known you through content.
Yes.
So
that's a funny story. So again, my son Kevin was in college. He worked in the agency in between. Our path to writing business then was making like 200 calls in the morning between 9 and 11.
wow.
And he'd bust out his calls, and I'd look over at him like, what are you doing? You're not dialing for dollars. What's happening right now? He said, Dad, I'm reaching more people in another way. This is like '09, as soon as non-college students could get on Facebook. No, MySpace first. And he's on there. He said, Dad, I'm going to create a profile. What do you want to do? I said, just network with business people, just have fun. And I'm in a new area. I didn't know anybody. He said, okay, sets up the profile. And we started getting comments right away. But they were crazy. The networking was, if you're not on here to get naked, just get the F off the page. I said, hey, delete that page. But then fast forward a year later, Facebook started becoming a serious thing, re-engaged, and been active on it ever since because it connects every aspect of your life, from high school, college, community, your customers. You get to know them as people, and they get to know you as a person. And the rule of business is know me, like me, do business with me. So it is the best thing in the world, and it's the greatest tool in the world if you're a business person, insurance otherwise. You got to be using this tool, and you got to be telling your story.
Mm-hmm. You being in New York, there has been for 17 years. So you started in '07,
Yes.
right after the big housing crisis back then,
Yes.
the Great Recession.
Yes.
What was that like?
It was
And then
insane.
also through COVID,
Through
probably
COVID.
one of the strictest states.
Yes.
I was making fun of Justin yesterday or 2 days ago because when he started his agency, he started it in '07, just like you,
Okay.
and then he sold his agency and started his fitness studio in 2020,
Yes.
and so now he's starting his new coaching company, and I'm like, bro, I'm worried for another Black Swan event because you have a immaculate timing when it comes
Yes.
to this
Yes.
stuff.
Serial entrepreneur. Serial entrepreneur. Nothing but love for Justin. Big shout out. Crazy times call for crazy responses, and you just got to step up and go through what people are doing. So the first crisis, too big to fail. You're watching big money people lose everything. Go from Wall Street people taking away jobs at Burger King. My son graduates college in '09, and they're told at graduation there's no jobs out here for you, so you may as well stay and get a master's. So that was the energy of the country. But when you pay attention to people and you tap into where they are and what they're going through and sell to that with empathy and help them through it, it pays off. So fast forward to COVID 2020, that's just the biggest paradigm shift in the world. Not just forget about selling insurance, just how much it forced all of us into the digital age and doing everything digitally that we never imagined that we would.
Yeah, with Zoom. I remember Zoom stock prices shot up.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything. How did you get through that time when a lot of agency owners in California and New York, they actually went out of business?
hmm
So how did you navigate that territory?
I did what we were doing. So, full disclosure, first part of it was really hard because I'm a calendar person. I live, eat, sleep, and drink by my calendar. So I'm at home in my office and I'm looking at the big calendar that's on the wall and I've got nothing. I have no appointments. I have no networking events. I go to Brooklyn Nets and New York Knicks games. I have nothing going and I can't go outside, and people I know are really dropping like flies, lack of a better way to put it. And mentally, that part is tough to keep it 100%. And then I was working with someone in the social media space, and I said, "How are you feeling?" I said, "Stuck. I have no idea what to do." She said, "Why don't you start a podcast?" I said, "What's a podcast?" So that's March of 2020, April of 2020. And from there, I launched my podcast, which the most important part for me was therapeutic. It just gave me a chance to talk to people. It was being done virtually, but man, I look forward to kicking it and just having a conversation with another person and seeing what they were doing and what they were doing. And more questions I asked, and more questions I answered, I got to help me and just brought me to a new space.
You've been somebody that has adapted through all the different kind of technology shifts through social media. You said even back in whatever 20, I don't know what year you said, but getting on social media, uh, probably all the different marketing tactics you've probably explored with. You probably still do. I mean, you send
Yeah,
out mailers and internet leads, stuff like that. And then I know you also are fully embracing AI.
I love
And
it.
I don't know if you talked about it over the weekend or the week, but you know, talk about AI and I guess how you're going to be leveraging that in everything that you're doing.
So AI is everything, and yes, I'm a chameleon. I have changed with times because you have to, right? I don't want to be the guy that has the back in my day story. Back in my day, we put business cards on the car shield, and people
But
would
not
come
every
in.
insurance agent is like that.
Yeah,
That's
no,
that's
we're
what's
not. We have to look at ourselves and what we're doing. So I don't look at it from a business standpoint of what's the best way for me to sell you insurance. I look at how I'm spending time and how I spend money. So that's how I started today. I'm like, did anyone here, we're all in Vegas, we're here for a big conference. I'm like, did anyone choose to go to a restaurant or some other hangout or a show, whatever you're checking out, without starting with the website? Like, no. And when you check the website, did you check out their reviews to see if it was a good restaurant or that, the best show to go to? Yeah. And I said, now how about your agency? What does your digital ecosystem look like? What do people see when they look at your website? We're in your office. Can people get a virtual tour? So if I'm choosing between you and some other agents, do I get a feel for your office, for your team, and what my experience is going to be? So that's
you ever go to an agent's Google and then there's no photos. It's just the Google
Generic.
camera,
Yeah,
like where you can see the street signs.
generic,
Photo.
generic. And the beauty is, agents are just like the rest of the population. We're all different. There are no two people that do this job the same way. So you got to put your personality in it. You got to put in what you're looking for when you're doing business, and you got to get out of the mode of, doors open at 9, close at 5. Dude, we're living in a 24/7 cycle. There is no 9 to 5 anymore.
Absolutely. So, what are some of the things you're doing with AI? How are you leveraging it right now? I know with us, we've done. It's so funny. You can use it for so many different things. It can help you with emails. It can help you. Daniel Austin just said he's using it to help respond to Google reviews, and I was just like, well, that's a little intense because you could just write something real quick. But there's a lot of different people using it for different things. It helps us with some of our thumbnails.
Yeah.
For these YouTube videos, but you can use it for a lot. How are you leveraging it?
One word, ideation. Whatever idea I wake up with that morning that I want to do, I'm using AI to help. It's an assistant that helps me execute something I'm thinking about that's off kilter. I can't call anybody, but it's quick. So I've got really good at the details, whether I'm using ChatGPT, Microsoft Pilot, whatever tool I'm using, or the other 100 apps I'm using right now. It's ideation. It's throwing the idea in there with a whole bunch of details and allowing it to spit it out. Then you look at it and say, yeah, that's good, but it's not me. Let's revise it. Let's do this. Let's do that. And let's go forward. So the easier question is, what am I not using AI for? What am I not using it for? Because it's powerful.
Somebody recently posted that you can take a photo of a meal and ask it to calculate the macros. A photo.
Ooh. Yeah.
A photo.
Yeah.
It gives you an estimate of what
Yeah.
macros are.
Yeah.
So it's insane.
Yeah. It's as much or as little as you want to do. And just like the business, no two people will use it exactly the same. So I joke with everybody today, like, who's using AI? And don't say I have ChatGPT, because that's not the answer. But big shout out to Justin Arkerfoot. He mentioned it to me first. Same trip, Cancun. Was busy at the time. I didn't engage. My son mentioned it to me, and I didn't engage. And my youngest son said, Dad,
Like,
just
all right,
use
he knows to know.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I jump on it, and the rest is history. So it's been like a year and a few months. It's been a great assistant. It's helped us pivot, completely change how we run our agency and how we even engage and help our COI. So it's a complete game changer.
Kudos to you, because even myself, I'm pretty resistant to change. Even with the, if Instagram makes a change, I'm like, oh, are you serious? It's like they move one thing, and I'm like, I hate this. I'm like, why do they do this? And but kudos to you for being adaptive to change, because we all know what happens when you don't adapt to change.
Who moved my cheese? You're done.
Yeah, great book. So as a coach, what are some of the common struggles that you are helping agency owners with?
I would say the big three that all agents go through is staffing, finding good people to work in their agency. Number 2, lead generation and marketing. And then number 3, just building a digital ecosystem, not just social media, not just using AI, but are you everywhere that people are looking, and do they see you, who you really are, what your agency really is? Are you telling your story every day? I mean, your ability to tell your story, what you're authentically doing, is the most powerful part. So those are the 3 areas that really, when I'm coaching an agent, I ask those questions, the hard questions, compliment them what they're doing well, but coach them up for what they're not doing yet and how they can change some things.
What's crazy to me is, I wrote that down, digital ecosystem, because when you look at every athlete, actor, movie star, I mean, just anybody that has become well known because they have done such a great job of being promoted and marketed in a digital ecosystem, it's allowed them to create other lines and products, stuff that's not even relevant. Like, you got The Rock that came out with an energy drink. You got The Rock that came out with a tequila. Why? Because he likes tequila.
Yeah.
You have people coming out with colognes. You've seen this happen throughout. Jordan has a tequila. Jordan has a cologne. Jordan has a shoe. Jordan has everything, right?
Yeah.
And so, what I also encourage people to build a brand, including my team members, is that think bigger than insurance, because this is going to be able to spill over into the next thing, whatever that is. So stop discounting don't think that this is just to get quotes.
No, 1,000%, man. So you know how people start a conversation with they should. You know what they should bring to Vegas. You know what. You know what drink the bar should have. That's your idea. You're the only one that can see it. So you are they. That's your pronoun. You've got to figure out how to carry that idea forward. And to your other point about what athletes and entertainers are doing to rebrand themselves, I would say like Kevin Hart is a perfect example. He's working in a lot of different spaces. He's one person. 50 Cent is another great example. You mentioned The Rock, but there's a lot of people that are stretching because they're building that system of being everywhere in front of all their different audiences, and it's all right there. And they have Gary Vee has an incredible digital team. I recently heard numbers on how many people are, making it happen for Gary Vee. I mean, come on, come on. That's what it really is about.
Yeah, it was the guy that plays Deadpool. Can't think of his name right now. Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
He was asked at a some sort of a conference, and like, what's the most important thing that you've done? And he just said, just building a brand, and then being able to leverage that into so many different things. Like, if he doesn't build that brand, he's probably not considered for Deadpool. And
Yeah.
and there's probably all these other things that you get asked to be a part of just by being known.
Yes.
But let me ask you, what about the books that you've written? Talk about that. What inspired you to write a book? And you just came out with two more. You said two
Yeah,
more?
two more
Not
today.
one more. You came out with two more.
Two dropped at the same time. And so let me answer a question I haven't answered before. Why two books at the same time? So the first book is How to Transform Your Agency: 5 Digital Strategies That Everybody Needs. Right. So I wrote that one, but I finished the whole book, and I didn't have anything on AI. So I concluded that book. I said, but what about AI? That's kind of the end of the book. So then I wrote another one, which is, and I didn't feel I could release that book without talking about AI. You can't talk as a journeyman on this digital journey without talking about AI. So I wrote another book, Get AI or Die Trying. And the subtitle is yeah. Shout out to 50.
I like that.
But but it's my 1 year journey of using AI in all the ways that I did it, from not knowing what the heck I was doing to figuring it out, to what you asked me earlier. How am I actually helping myself? How am I actually helping agents? So it's 100% authentic. It's what I was really doing. But then the next person, and if we step out of the insurance space for a minute, such an opportunity to teach so many people how to work on whatever you're working on. So you're talking about branding. So anybody that has a brand and they want to figure out really what to do next, ideation, throw your ideas in there, work it all the way out, and you'll just be surprised. You'll really, really be surprised how quickly you can execute on an idea with a little bit of help.
What do you think the next 5 years look like for Kevin Spann? I don't know if other people look at things in 5 years. I tend to.
Yeah.
Some people are like, I'm living life 1 year at a time, bro. I create 5-year plans. I think 10 is too far, but I like to look at 5. What do the next 5 years look like? Do you see yourself branching into different industries, or it's like, no, I'm going to continue just building this insurance agency juggernaut? Is it going to be more coaching? What does that look like? Have you thought about it?
Oh, every day.
Okay.
So I'm like you. I'm just visiting the present. Most of the time I live in the future. Yeah, so every day. So the next 5 years, great
You
question.
say I'm just visiting the present?
Yeah, I'm just visiting. I'm passing through, man. My eyes are way down the road.
That is so
I'm
mean.
a visitor. I'm a visitor
Unfortunately,
here.
that's me.
I actually don't know what's going on. So I'm like a little bit of an alien. Like, what is this? What is this? But the next 5 years, I see myself living the same life very differently with a lot of different revenue streams. So the agency will be there. It's probably being run by my son, Kevin, in 5 years. I'm launching, I'm a part of CWC. I still see myself coaching with CWC. Earlier this year, I launched the Kevin Spann Mentorship Value Program. So I'm also coaching agents in that space. I see that blowing up. I see myself coaching and developing other coaches so they can do their own thing. Because when I look at what you guys did earlier this year, 8, 9 young guys, all with excellence and expertise in different places, is just going to keep going. So I just see just developing people, enjoying life, leveraging technology, living in several places, not just home in New York.
I like
You
that.
can do this with technology from anywhere. You can carve out a couple of hours. So Some of my inspiration comes from people like Warren Buffett. Happy birthday, Warren Buffett. Turned 94 the other day. And what I love about Warren Buffett, not only has he been one of the top 5 wealthiest people in the world, I read how he spends his time. His daily regiment is wake up, lives in a house he bought many, many years ago, never got into, proving that he has money, eats at the same diner, spends some time reading every day, and then a lot of time reflecting. And he works 2 hours a day considering the next investment opportunity. So I like the way he spends time. And I like the fact that even at 94, he talks about not being the oldest and wisest person in this company. He's got a mentor that's older than him. So that's how I see my life unfolding, just mentoring. Will I be in the office every day? No, not there every day right now.
I have all the respect in the world for Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
A lot of it. I don't know if I could live like that, man. Like I gotta have a little bit of fun. I don't know. Maybe I don't know the travel that he does do. I like that you at least want to travel.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. To me, it just seems like maybe he is just sitting in his house reading all day.
Now, he's doing what he wants, I think. This. So you brought up crash 08, 09, whenever the crash went down. But when the government calls you to borrow money, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's like, Nick, can I hold just a little something, something?
What's crazy about Warren is I think the majority of his wealth happened like after 56 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's when it like,
yeah.
I don't even know the word. Not quadruple isn't even the right word for that.
Keep it simple. He leveled up.
Yeah.
He leveled up big time. He really, really leveled up, and it's crazy and it's beautiful. And for me, it's really, really inspiring. And I heard something similar with how Oprah spends her time. Wake up, exercise, meditation, a lot of reading, relaxing, private shopper, her food regimen, and then maybe 2 hours a day she looks into some business, signs off on things over $100,000. So, yeah. So 5 years, I can see that life.
I certainly see a life for myself where I don't have to do much, and I only get to live and do just what I want to do, like truly what I want to do, and that's not even like just sitting on a beach and just sipping margaritas, nothing like that. It's just stuff that I feel like you do have to pay your dues, and as Gary Vee calls it, eat crap, right? Until you can do truly what you want to do. Because I think what you want to do sometimes costs like money, and you have to lay the framework or they have the influence to be able to do that and all this stuff. But
yeah, and I don't consider work a bad word. I am hesitant to use the word retire. I don't think that's a good word because I talk to a lot of people. There's one thing in life that's fair. We all get 24 hours, and we got to figure out how to spend that time.
yeah.
So I love Ben and Jerry's. Prefer not to have all 24 hours just eating it because I can. I'd rather be busy. I'd rather be trading ideas for adding value to someone, exchanging revenue. So if you call that work, I don't see that as a bad thing. I think too many people define work as a bad thing and you got to get away from it. And what you said, you want to do what you get to. I think that's beautiful. I get to do this. I get to be involved in something for a few hours a day. I think that's an honor, and if it's value added and if some dollars are exchanged, it's a good thing.
Yeah. What's one of the best lessons you've learned, either through a mentor or just through your own experience?
Good question. Biggest lesson is never stop learning because life never stops teaching. Never get comfortable that you have it all because you don't. You just don't know it all. And you talk about coaching. Every time I coach, every time I mentor, I'm learning as much from the other person as I'm, bringing to the table myself. So just stay humble. Stay really, really humble. Keep learning. Life's still teaching. So there's no such place as there. Stay humble. Learn something today.
What's a good tip that you can share with a young bull that's just 1 year into marriage and that's gonna make it the distance like you What's a good husband and father tip you got for the people?
Oh my God!
You've been married
Nick,
for how long?
Only 38 years. We're just getting started. Only 38
love it.
years. We're getting started. So we'll keep going. Tip.
Share it
Give
with-
you one I gave my son
share it with
all
the
the
people.
time. With the people. Question you have to ask yourself whenever there's conflict, there will be conflict. What is marriage? Marriage is two people trying to be one person at all times. So if you ever change your own mind, it's going to be hard. It's going to be challenged. Marriage is two people trying to be one person at all times, which scientifically is impossible. So that being said, The young bull. First, don't be a bull.
I don't even use that word. I don't even know where that came from.
Tiptoe around the China shop and every place else. But the big thing is, whenever there's conflict, ask yourself this question: do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I choose happiness. I choose happiness. So if I have to forego, if my wife says this water is blue, and I said no, it's kind of clear. No, it's blue. Then I'd rather agree that it's blue, and than to be right and to argue like it's a court case to try to prove my point. And I think that's a huge, huge thing, not to let little things, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small. So when you look at it that way and you focus on the big picture, congratulations on the beautiful baby girl. You guys are in something beautiful together, and the journey is so nice when you can reflect on it at 5 years old, at 10 years old, and celebrate graduations and Kevin just getting married, celebrating that with him and adjusting his bow tie and stuff like that. There's some beautiful moments down there as a husband and father that I wouldn't do anything in the world to miss.
Also, being as savvy with technology as you are, how do you stay present as much as possible?
Yeah, it's you have to make time for the things that you do. Like people they probably think the same thing of you because you're such a beast on social media and YouTube and you're dominating space that you're doing it all the time. No, I compartmentalize things. It's like Sunday nights. Think about what stories I want to tell this week, plan it, automate it, set it, forget it, and then plan big content days. Put everything together, do a whole lot of work in 1 or 2 days, and then stretch it out. So, yeah, people have asked me that a lot. Like, Kevin, how much time do you spend a week on content? 2 hours. But you're every day. I said, yeah, but you don't know when I recorded that. You have no idea how old it is.
Yeah.
People perceive that you're really out there doing a lot. Like, dude, I'm the biggest homebody you ever met.
Yeah.
The biggest homebody. I don't do a lot unless it's business related and I have to. But other than that, 9 times out of 10, I'm at home. I'm chilling. I'm present with the family. The phone is off at a certain time.
Yeah.
And we're just there.
Yeah. I'm still working on some of those things.
It's not easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not easy.
I don't know if it's the same thing, but what's a good fatherhood tip?
Don't miss events.
Yeah.
Don't miss events. So that's like the standard.
To.
That's the standard.
I don't plan to, yeah.
That's the standard. So you have a newborn. You talked about your 5-year plan. I always say is being there for whatever she's into. So if she chooses soccer, dance, gymnastics, whatever she's into, then you're there because that event, whatever it is, will never be repeated again. My kids have tried a lot of activities, even if they were in a school band and they're playing the clarinet or flute and you can't hear it, doesn't matter. Being there is the biggest one and do things like the little things you're doing now, like changing diapers and grabbing the bottles and getting up at night is priceless because it's something you've never done for anybody else. And, that's the bond. The work is the bond.
If you could go back to your first year in insurance, what are you doing differently?
Humbling myself sooner. So I'll tell you exactly what I mean by that. So my first year as an agent is 2007. I was coming off of being an FSL, a sales leader. I was very successful. I was helping guys win trips and qualify for all sort of wonderful things. So I thought I was walking on and I really knew what I was doing and I would crush it. But 07 is right when internet leads is just started. It's starting to blow. But I've got all these other processes in my head. I'm like, nah, not doing that. So you wait a little while. By 09, people are launching coaching programs. So it took me 2 years to realize, like, Kevin, you don't have it all. Some guys are coming up with some really good stuff in other parts of the country. It's charging peanuts to learn what you need to learn and to follow their success. So humble yourself, listen and learn from guys that have expertise in areas that you don't. So I would have humbled myself sooner and learned more and changed faster. So you talk about me being adaptable now. I was a bull in a china shop because I had my winning ways that worked for others that should have been working for me immediately, but they weren't. They weren't. I'd hit a real financial wall right at the end of the year too. And it's like, holy cow, a year and a half in, a year and a half in, hit a real financial wall. And it's like, holy cow, you're going to go off the deep end or you're going to change and get better. So I chose to change and get better.
Love it. So you weren't always adaptable. So that's
No. These are hard lessons learned with a lot of pain.
Yeah, I love it. I got two more things that I just want to go over with you. The first thing is I would just like to acknowledge you I haven't known you for very long, but in the time that I've known you, you've always shown a lot of love. I think I was speaking after you at CWC, and I was nervous as all hell, man. I never spoke to 600 people in my life, and I think yeah, I was right after you, and you gave me some words of encouragement and built me up. And every time I see you, it's a pleasant experience. Even being on that boat in Cancun, it was good times getting to know you over the years, but just the way that you show up for others, other agents, and the good spirit that you are, and sharing even some of the life lessons, not just agency lessons, but you gave me some OG tips in the direction that I'm headed. So, want to acknowledge you for that.
Thank
Thank
you. I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing this space with us today. And the last question I have for you, sir, is the definition of A1 is of the highest standard and of the highest quality. So I like to ask everybody, what are three standards that you live your life by?
Wow, man, that's a powerful question. That's a powerful question. What are three standards that I live my life by? Faith first, not a standard, just who I am. Biggest standard is my word is my bond. If you say something, do that. Let your words and your actions, they have to line up. Don't say you're doing one thing and do something different. That's the essence of who you are. Family first. Family first always. So when it comes to calendaring as a business person, business people have multiple poles on their life. We want as many customers as possible. We have to generate revenue to take care of our families and our staff's families. So that's a big weight on you. But you have to have a standard of learning how to get a hold of your calendar and then communicating. So this goes back to marriage. So Sunday night is both a calendar and a content date for me. I look at everything that's there and I make sure I let my wife know. This when I'm traveling, this when I'm at this networking event, this when I'm home. But more than telling her what I'm doing, I'm asking her, how does her week look and when does she need me to show up? So Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, my wife might need me once or twice for something that's a really big deal. As long as I knock those two things down successfully, the rest of the way I spend my time business-wise, studying, how much time I'm in the office at home, doesn't matter as long as I show up for those two things she needs from me. And I do the big things. You can't miss big things. So if that's involving a pickup or something like that, I got to show up because it might just be picking something up for her. But if that's her number one, it can't be my number 15. I got to do that. I got to do that. So family first, family, God, family, business. Those are my three standards. Yeah, God, family, business in that order all the time, all day, every day. But get a handle on your calendar. Don't be helter-skelter in any one of those areas, your spiritual life, your family life, and your business life. Let your yeses be yes, your nos be nos, and stick to it.
That is some fire. We need to add a soundboard. Floodgates of heaven just opened up. That was some life advice right there. Probably one of the more powerful A1 answers that we've gotten. So, Kevin, thank you so much. I know you guys probably got some value. Normally I say I hope you got some value, but I know you got some value this time. And so what I need you guys to do is like, comment, subscribe this video, but also connect with Kevin. Add him on social media, follow him on Facebook, reach out to him for help if you need help with coaching and getting further in your insurance agency journey. And how can they connect with you?
Two best places where I probably put the most time in is Facebook and IG. IG, Kevin Spann _insurance guru. IG at Wine Down with Kev. Wine spelled like wine, WINE. Down with Kev, KEV. But those places, you connect with there, you'll be able to connect with me and see all that I have going on in the insurance world, in the coaching world, and most importantly now, my most fun that I'm having is in the author world. Please give me a check out there. Visit me. Go to Amazon and check out my book. I'd love for you to pick it up and give me your feedback. I really want to hear. I had a bunch of people read my book before I released it, and they gave me great feedback before I put it out. So I pulled my release date back by about 3 weeks and cleaned a lot of things up. I would love for you to ask me questions about what did I include in the books that I should have talked more about, and what do you think? Nah, Kevin, that's like, blah. Don't care about that. Everybody knows that. I want that feedback so we can keep getting better at this and just keep giving value added information. So,
Yeah.
book titles, if I could drop it.
Yeah.
Again, digital strategies to transform your agencies, 5 proven strategies that work very well for me. And then get AI or die trying 1 year of using AI to revolutionize insurance and small businesses. Both available on Amazon and Kindle today as of a couple hours ago. It'll be on Audible next week. We'll be ready. And then I'll have a 7 series YouTube masterclass probably about 2 to 3 weeks before production is done on that. So
Let's go.
thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate the chance to say it. And thank you for having me. And you asked me some tough questions, bro. I thought it was going to be like a fluff interview. It made me think a lot.
Man, I'm glad. No, thank you. Thank you. Awesome stuff. I'm going to add the links to how you can connect with Kevin as well as get his books on Amazon. So I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate you. Great being here. Thank you.